The March 11, 2026 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. A meeting was held at 6 p.m. in the council chambers of City Hall for clarification of the agenda. The following is an official agenda of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Discussion and commission actions will be limited to those items on the agenda. Any citizen who wishes to address the commission shall first be recognized by the chair and shall give his or her first name for the record. If a citizen wishes to read documentation of any sort to the commission, he or she shall first seek permission from the chair. There is a 3-minute time limitation for public testimony to the commission. Aislinn, will you please call the roll?
Benjamin Gomez.
Here.
Adam Dyer.
Here.
Rhonda McCarr.
Here.
Richard Phillips.
Here.
Jessica Richards.
Here.
Desiree Valladolid.
Here.
And we have Annie Mendoza excused this evening.
Does anyone have any conflict of interest or ex parte contact to report? Great. I'd like to invite everyone to, including the audience, please silence their cell phones. We'll move on to agenda item number 2, which is the approval of minutes. The commission may wish to approve the minutes from the clarification and regular meetings held February 18th, 2026. Is there any discussion by the commission of the February 18th, 2026 meeting minutes? No further discussion. I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion by McCarg and a second by Valladolid. Aislinn, will you call the vote, please?
McCarr.
Yes.
Valladolid.
Yes.
Gomez.
Yes.
Dyer.
Yes.
Mendoza. Richards.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Before we begin the public hearing, we need to make note that agenda item number 3 and 4 have been pulled from the agenda. Notices will be published and sent when the next meeting is confirmed. I will now explain the public hearing procedures. The application presentation is limited to 10 minutes. There is a 3-minute limit on public testimony. Those presenting or testifying will state your name for the record. While giving testimony, questions and comments should be pertinent to the application and should only be addressed to the commission. During the public hearing, there should be no questions, comments, or applause from the audience. Should the meeting go longer than 8 p.m., the commission may take a scheduled 10-minute break. Commission members must make their decision regarding the application on facts already in the record and information presented during the public hearing. Protocol requires the commission members and audience be recognized with the commission chair prior to speaking. I will now we'll now move on to agenda item number 5. The time has been set aside for the commission to hear comments from the public regarding a preliminary plat application submitted by the City of Pocatello Parks and Recreation Director Ann Butler. The request is to plat the 3rd edition of Restlawn Memorial Gardens with 40 small lots and the 4th edition containing 721 larger lots. The property is on public land facility with a future land use designation of open space. Declare the public hearing open. We'll now hear from the applicant.
Good evening. My name's Ann Butler. I'm the Parks and Recreation Director for the City of Pocatello. I know the staff report's going to cover most of the details, but basically we are trying to plat the remainder of Restlawn Cemetery. I don't think most people quite understand or know that cemeteries have to be officially platted for us to be able to sell those spaces. So you can see the details there of the number of lots and the acreage we're trying to include. So appreciate your time. Thank you.
Great. Do we have any questions? Or, excuse me, we'll now hear from City.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Flynn, the Assistant Planner. The request before you is a preliminary plat application to subdivide 2 existing parcels into plots for the Restlawn Memorial Cemetery. The property is zoned Public Land Facility, PLF, with a future land use designation of open space. The request is to plat the 3rd edition of Restlawn Memorial Gardens with 40 small lots and the 4th edition containing 721 lots, larger lots. Notice was posted on the subject property on February 24th, 2026, and published in the Idaho State Journal on February 18th, 2026. All property owners within 300 feet of the external boundaries of the subject property have been provided notice of the public hearing in order that they may provide comment on the proposed preliminary plat. No written comment has been received. Staff concludes that the proposed preliminary plat is compliant with City of Pocatello Code, Chapter 16.20.050, with the conditions outlined in the staff report. That concludes my presentation.
Jennifer, does the commission have any questions for the applicant or staff?
Thanks.
Thank you. Before starting public testimony, I'd like to remind each person, when you come to this podium, you must state your name. We're also, I believe, going to have people sign in. Is that correct, Aislinn?
We'll see how many we have
Okay.
online for each one.
Please remember to only address the commission, not the audience or the applicant or representative. You have 3 minutes to testify and will be asked to stop when time runs out. Keep questions and comments pertinent to the application. Do not duplicate questions, concerns, or comments covered by previous testimony heard today. I'd like to invite anyone providing testimony in support of the application to come forward.
My name is Nanette Smith. I live at 745 Swisher. I own the apartments that sit on the other side of the cemetery as you're coming out. And I just want to go on record saying we're happy to see that it's going to be developed. It's going to be, there's going to be grass and stuff there. So we're just happy to see it's going to be cleaned up too. So, okay, thanks.
Great, thank you. Anyone else who'd like to provide testimony in support of the application? Is there anyone here tonight who'd like to provide testimony uncommitted to the application? Is there anyone tonight who would like to provide testimony opposing the application? And do you have any rebuttal? Okay. With no further testimony or rebuttal, I declare the public hearing closed. How does the commission wish to proceed?
I move to approve the preliminary plat application request by Ann Butler to subdivide a portion of the Rest Lawn Cemetery for preliminary plat. Do I need to read the numbers?
No, I
Okay.
skipped them too. It's a while.
Finding the application does meet the standards for approval under Chapter 16.20.050 of Pocatello Municipal Code with conditions listed in the staff report, and to authorize the chair to sign the findings of fact and decision.
I second the motion.
I have a motion made by Richards and a second by Gomez. Aislinn, will you call the vote, please?
Richard? Gomez?
Yes.
Guyer?
Yes.
McCart?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Belldonia?
Yes.
Great. Move on to agenda item number 6. This time has been set aside for the commission to hear comments from the public regarding a map amendment rezone request by Brandon Ratliff to rezone the subject property from residential medium density single family to light industrial. The property consists of 2 lots totaling 0.69 acres or 30,144 square feet. The property is currently undeveloped. I declare the public hearing open. I'd like to invite the applicant to come to the podium.
Good evening. My name's Brandon Ratliff. And yeah, basically I'm just here to submit that for a rezone. There's 2 parcels that sit in front of it that are already zoned light industrial. The comp plan calls for a light industrial zoning. I feel like industrial fits better there because there's light industrial that surrounds those parcels. I have parcels that sit further up that are still RMS. They sit around residential. So I felt like that where I decided to differentiate the zoning was a good transition to take that into light industrial. So
Great.
that's all I'm looking to do.
Does council have any questions for the applicant? Okay, thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
Now hear from city staff.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the commission. Jim Anglesey, Long Range Planner for the city. Before you is a zone map amendment application to rezone the subject property from residential medium-density single-family to light industrial. As stated, it consists of 2 lots totaling 0.69 acres and is currently undeveloped. The property is designated in the future land use map as industrial, and so this proposed change is in conformance with the comprehensive plan. Notification of this public hearing has met all state and local requirements, and in consideration of the application, staff concludes that the proposed zoning map is compliant with Pocatello City Code, Section 1702-170E. And that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
Were there any public comments received on this application?
No.
Great. Thanks. Any questions for city staff? No. No? Okay, thank you. I'd like to invite anyone providing testimony in support of the application to come forward. I'd like to invite anyone providing testimony uncommitted to the application to come forward. I'd like to invite anyone providing testimony opposing the application to come forward. Brandon, do you have any rebuttal? Okay, great. I declare the public hearing closed. How does the commission wish to proceed? I will entertain a motion or discussion.
A motion to approve the application to recommend approval for the zone map amendment application for Brandon Ratliff to rezone the subject property from residential medium single density family to light industrial, finding the application meets the standards for approval under section 17.02.170.e of Pocatello City Code, and authorize the chair or vice chair to sign the findings and fact and recommendation.
I'll second.
I have a motion made by McCarg and a second by Guyer. Aislinn, will you call the vote, please?
McCart,
Yes.
Dyer,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
Yes.
motion carries.
Great.
Ms. Gomez.
Yes.
You don't count.
He's not important.
Okay, we'll move on to agenda item number 7. This time has been set aside for the commission to hear comments from the public regarding a planned unit development application submitted by Kevin Karchner. The subject property with a zoning designation of residential, commercial, professional, and a future land use designation as mixed use. The request is to create 64 lots for townhome development with cluster development and 0.61 acres dedicated to open space with a park for community use. I declare the public hearing open. I would like to invite the applicant to come to the podium.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the Commission. My name is Kevin Karchner, and I'm the applicant for the planned unit development in the crossings. The 4-acre property is currently, well, you already just said that. Initially, we planned on doing a 4 residential project there, but after we studied the area, we feel like a for sale owner-occupied townhome project would be a better fit, so that's why we're submitting for a planned unit development. It includes 64 townhome units. Of those, 44 include both a 2-car garage and a 2-car driveway, providing 4 parking spaces per home. This was intentional to address one of the most common concerns associated with townhome communities, which is a lack of parking. In addition, there are 25 guest parking stalls for residents and visitors. Based on my experience in residential development, many of the buyers in this community are going to be children of longstanding citizens of Pocatello because they want to stay nearby and live nearby their families. As mentioned, the development will also include a park, playground, and swing set, and it'll be constructed of LP SmartSide siding and stone accents. We've enjoyed working with Pocatello City and appreciate your time. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, just to clarify, so these here have a 2-car garage and a driveway?
Yeah, correct.
And then these don't have a driveway?
Yep.
Right. Is this Karchner Homes project? I didn't want to assume that since your last name's Karshner, but
Yes. It's Troy Allen Homes, but closely associated with Karchner Homes, yeah.
yeah, as I'm, like you mentioned, I know my daughter lives in the Karshner Homes, townhome project like this in Rexburg, and parking's a major issue.
Yeah.
So my only concern when I see this, when you bring up parking, since these one townhomes are going to face Ventura Boulevard, the Ventura here, people trying to park on that road would be my concern. So maybe the city can address that at that time, but that's the only thing I see. But how many guest parking spots did you say there were?
So there are 25 apart from the 44 times 2, 88,
Yeah.
driving stalls, so.
Okay.
Great. Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you. I'll now turn the time over to city staff.
Good evening, Council Chair, Commission members. Becky Babb, Planning Manager for the City of Pocatello. Before I start into our staff report, I just would like to begin with a description of planned unit developments, what the purpose is and what the criteria are. So planned unit developments within the City of Pocatello are designed to facilitate more flexible mix of uses and developments. They're intended to allow for greater localized density and to encourage clustering development to preserve open space or arrange living patterns in accordance with good planning practices and to provide adequate safeguards to protect our community. The uses permitted by a planned unit development are dictated by the underlying zone. In this particular case, the underlying zone is residential, commercial, professional. So the underlying zone for residential development would be the highest residential high density. The criteria that is included in your staff report includes that there's an alternative methods of land development, that they include a mix of uses, that they conserve natural and topographic features, that it's compatible with adjacent uses, neighborhoods, or facilities, that it's consistent with the intensity of the use permitted, including building coverage, magnitude of activities, density and traffic, that it emphasizes cultural design and aesthetic value, and that it emphasizes the provision of open space. So the purpose of a planned unit development is to identify the land use that will be coming before you. The criteria for a subdivision, which is what the applicant said they'll be doing, is that a subdivision cannot move forward, is not permitted until the planned unit development determination is made by the council. So that is, or commission, that's why this item is before you. So I will just review the items in my staff report. As stated, this is a planned unit development. It is run parallel to Venture Way and is in a currently undeveloped lot. The applicant has proposed approximately 64 zero-lot line townhomes. It does provide an alternative method of land development as it clusters those homes, and the number of permitted uses would not be permitted without the planned unit development. The project includes a mix of land uses, and those are compatible and integrated with the surrounding uses. It's residential use primarily, and it will serve as a functional transition between commercial and apartments and the wellness complex that's to the south. It would include the amenities of the 1.47 acres, which is a park, a playground, and additional parking. So therefore, it qualifies for the lot size averaging as permitted under 17.02.14G of the Pocatello City Code. The site is relatively flat, but the development does include the landscaping and open space as required under the code. The project is surrounded by a mix of land uses, and so just immediately to the east are two parcels owned by individual credit unions. To the west is an undeveloped subdivision, and then the Northgate Apartments. And to the south is the wellness complex, which is actually within Bannock County, not the city. So that zone is agriculture. So that might have, all public utilities are readily available. The project has considered the use, the intensity of uses, including building coverage, magnitude, density, and traffic circulation. One question that frequently comes up is whether or not we have considered traffic density and how that will impact adjacent roads. And so according to Bannock Transportation Planning Organization, the highest counted traffic volume on Venture Way was about 6,500 vehicles. That was in 2022. As a reference, Jefferson has 17,000. So it's certainly designed and has the capacity for the additional traffic. It does propose an entrance at Venture Way and an entrance at Paradigm Way, so that would move that traffic sufficiently. The project does emphasize architectural design and aesthetic values. They have met the criteria for the facade using broken up by siding and stone, and the color scheme is compliant with city requirements. The project does include park, swing set, playground, landscape area, and parking facilities, which is the provision of open space and quality recreation areas. As far as the density of the land use, on the last page of your staff report, it has the permitted land use density. This is the highest residential density, which is approximately 30 units per acre. So strictly speaking, this lot would be permitted to have 69 units based on the geographic area. As a final note, the city of Pocatello is completing its housing study through a series of community engagement, a lot of research, and a lot of work to understand what our current housing needs are and what our projected actions can be to improve development. Two of the suggested action items that the city is considering taking is improving the ability for developers to do missing middle housing, which this is. It is townhome style developments. They will be for residential sale. We have a lack of units for sale in this size and market. It also is a new subdivision in an area that has been designated for mixed use, would be a transition between that residential use and the commercial uses, which are being implemented adjacent to this. And so it does meet the criteria of our housing study and what we have determined by our community that we really, really need at this price point and size. So if the commission has any questions?
Yeah, I still just want to address Venture Way, since those units are going to be, these front units are going to face that. People are going to try and park there. Delivery drivers are going to stop right in the middle of the street there. Does the city have a plan to?
So I believe those units are all facing the internal roadway. None of the units will be,
It looks like these are facing towards Ventures. Am I incorrect?
let me pull it up.
There are alleys in the back and the front is facing Venture.
They won't be permitted driveway access on Venture.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just talking, okay, a food delivery, Amazon's going to stop right in the middle of Venture to make a delivery to this front door right here.
I don't think that the city has a way of preventing vehicles from accessing public right-of-ways.
I'm just saying they're going to stop in the middle of the road. There's not enough room. That road's narrow, right?
And that might be a better question for our public works director.
I mean, I don't know if the city was just going to put up no parking signs, anything was
Can
planned.
you guys show us like which one is Venture Way on the map?
It's right here. It's this one.
Is it this one?
It's the
It's
bottom one?
Chubbuck Road.
Yeah, Chubbuck Road Ventures.
Chubbuck Road.
Okay.
Tom Kirkman, Public Works. So there is an access into this unit off of Venture Way.
Right.
It will be just like similar to Olympus. During soccer matches, we have people parking on Olympus. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of control because it is a public right-of-way. But if it impedes the traffic, then we will move forward with
yeah.
installing signs.
This definitely will impede traffic on that road. Obviously, it's a narrow road.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people are going to have to go into the middle.
So we'll just address those as they come up, if they come up.
So no plan in place. So we'll deal with the problem if it comes up, which it will come up, but type thing.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
It's Chubbuck Road.
Can you show where you're seeing that the front of the house is open?
Well, here's the driveway. Here's the garage in the back.
Right.
So this would be the front.
Chubbuck
I
Road.
thought the garage was in the front. Is the garage in the back of the house?
Goes under the interstate.
Yeah, if you look at the design of it, there's no garages in the front.
Oh,
The garages are in the back.
okay.
So they're saying that non-Amazon truck would just run across the grass.
Because that's the front entryway, there's no rear entry.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, my daughter lives in the same kind of complex in Rexburg, and that's how it is. And
Yeah, I see what you're
during the
saying.
wintertime, when you can't park on the main road, there's nowhere to park, so kind of same issue.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Spots in the garage.
Right, yeah, because this is.
Other questions for city staff? Becky, you're okay. Were there any public comments on this application?
The only public comment we received is that at the preliminary plat stage, Intermountain Gas would like a public utility easement.
I have one other question for you. So you said that the traffic, you were comparing the traffic on that part of Ventureway. It was from 2022.
Yes, I use that because the subsequent years, the interstate has been under construction, and so that data isn't as valid. It was drastically reduced, and so I used the highest number possible to give you that comparison.
So that's been the highest number since, what was the most recent? Study
Most
completed?
recent is, and again,
Like, the most recent was,
Yeah.
was it since?
so the most
it's
recent is
reopened?
2025, and it had 5,391.
Okay.
2024 had 2,299, but again, that's likely due to the interstate. So the highest number of daily vehicle trips was in 2022 at 6,542. And so, as a reference again, Jefferson has 17,000.
But obviously, there's another big project happening right on that same corner too, so, right now.
Okay, any other questions for city staff? Ms. Becky? Before starting public testimony, I would like to remind each person, when you come to the podium, you must state your name. Please remember to only address the commission, not the audience or the applicant or representative. You have 3 minutes to testify and will be asked to stop when time runs out. Keep questions and comments pertinent to the application. Do not duplicate questions, concerns, or comments covered by previous testimony heard today. I'd like to invite anyone who is providing testimony in support of the application to come forward.
Merrill Quayle, 3636 Jason Avenue. I'm in favor of this development. It follows the plan from day one as the crossings came in with the lot layout and everything, and with the density and what was planned to go there. Also, I believe, and it's my understanding, that the roadway is a 41-foot back of curb to back of curb. And that was planned to have a bike lane to go along there, and that the one side would not have parking on it. So as it developed and everything, there would have to be some restrictions there. If I recall reading the plan at the time. So I'm in favor for it, and excited for the development to come into Pocatello.
Thank you. Anyone else who'd like to provide testimony in support of the application? Is there anyone here? Oh, sorry, please.
Okay, my name is Wiki. I want to voice my support for the PDU just because I think it's important for places that are developing to diversify their housing stock so that people have options. A lot of times, someone might want to move here. It's a small family. They're not going to afford a single family home, so it's nice to have options. And, I'm a grad student, and Pocatello doesn't offer a ton of apartments, and that's another issue with getting people to come to Pocatello. Just there's not enough, there's not a lot of different types of homes. And I live up in the Highland area. I live with my parents, and I rode bike on East Chubbuck and Ventureway every day in the summer. No one parks on that road. It's way too narrow for a car to fit there. And even when I bike on that road, it's scary driving on that on there with a bike. And you can you can just go down the road to Northgate and no one parks on that side either. It's just gonna, if it follows the same design with the trees and creates a barrier, then it's safe. And so I don't think traffic will be like a big issue, and people parking there won't be a big issue. It could just be putting up signs for no parking. And if UPS or any mail delivery service wants to get into that neighborhood, they can just go into Paradigm Way and then deliver the items to the back of the house. That should work. And so it might just be a way of organizing it so housing number shows up on the back so that the UPS deliverers know where to go. There's different ways to do it, but I support diversifying housing stock. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to provide testimony in support of the application?
Good evening, council members. I'm Addie Hall, and I would just like to support this idea of the new townhouses. Our city has grown very quickly, and so there's not a lot of housing here in Pocatello. Especially housing has become more expensive. And so increasing the number of homes available in the most practical steps can keep this area and helpful for working people, young families, and seniors. It can also help us accommodate growth responsibility while supporting local businesses and keeping our community vibrant. I'm also a grad student, and it was difficult trying to find housing, and I feel like just having that opportunity to have additional housing here in Pocatello would be very helpful, and that is why I support this proposal. Thank you.
Anyone else? Is there anyone here who would like to provide testimony and committed to the application?
My name is Mike Sant. I live on Wayfarer Street, just adjacent to this project. I'm not opposed to the townhouses going in. My concern is with the traffic that we've talked about. With this project, we're looking at a minimum of 100 cars being in that area, additional cars. And the new project going kitty corner to this, the apartments, I think it's gonna be 300 apartments. We're looking at a minimum of 500 cars. And so it's a lot of high-density housing in a very small area. I'm concerned what's gonna happen with Venture and Olympus. That intersection is kind of janky already, and I want to know if the council has any input on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else providing testimony uncommitted to the application? Is there anyone here tonight who would like to provide testimony opposing the application? Have you come forward?
Daniel Robinson, D-A-N-I-L-R-O-B-N. I live on Saunter Lane, which is in the area near that. So a couple things I'd like to point out. If I was the city council, I would be asking how they're going to manage the streets in this. This is going to sell individual houses. So there's roads in this. How are those going to get maintained? You know, if I buy a house, I'm going to worry about maintaining my driveway. I'm not going to maintain the road out inside of it. Who's going to maintain the green space? How is that managed? Is it an HOA? Has there been a drainage plan assessed? This is flat. I don't see, in the apartment complex, they actually have a holding pond to the south of it. I don't see that addressed. Park and road maintenance. I don't see the 22 spare parking spots. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't see 22. So those are kind of side notes. I'm against it because of the traffic issue. If you look at it, they actually make multiple comments in here about the actual applicant says this is a busy road. They said this is a very busy road, actually. You're going to get somewhere between 64 and 120 something cars. This place doesn't really have good parking for that. People, you know, everybody fills up their garage. It's a poor design. You've crammed it in there. The green space is going to be an ice block because the green space down the middle is going to be in the shadows of those homes. It's only 30 feet across. Google routes you from our house. If you want to come downtown, it routes you down Chubbuck, right? If you go under the underpass, the applicant actually says This takes you away from, because the way it's said, it's putting you out on a nice road that's not residential. When you go under the freeway, it's residential. Those people back into their driveways so they can pull out in the morning. It's residential. And that's where all these people are going. All the people up on the hill, they come down the hill, they come down Chubbuck. There's actually only one crosswalk on Chubbuck from the apartment complexes or houses, and it leads from the end of this road through a dirt field. The crosswalk is actually away from the intersection. So if you're going down the sidewalk on Chubbuck, you have to jog down, go across the sideway, go back up, Olympus. You jog down, cross that crosswalk, which is very close to an intersection, and then you jog back up. If you come into our area, I'm kind of wondering, what are they doing here? Are we going to be able to go that way anymore? Because that's the way we go to the park. It's a dirt road. There's actually people driving down it. It stays flat because enough people drive down it. I've never driven down it. But, this Chubbuck Road there's an intersection down below the apartment. There's no crosswalks there. There's not, some of the neighbors actually got little red flags to wave so that they could kind of stop people to get across that road safely. The other day, I'm driving home, coming up Chubbuck. The kid's ball rolls out in that road because they're playing basketball right there. It's not that far from the basketball court. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who'd like to provide testimony opposing the application? Does the applicant have any rebuttal?
I guess I can just answer a couple of those questions. The parking is kind of hard to see on it, but there's parallel parking at the top. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, belong here.
Yeah.
Parallel parking.
There's parallel parking up there. And then, obviously, there's going to be an HOA that maintains the roads and the grass and keep it all looking nice and clean, so.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I declare the public hearing closed. How does the commission wish to proceed? Motion or discussion?
I would just like to address one of the gentleman's concerns that he didn't see any drainage plan. This is just the PUD. There will have to be a preliminary plat map that is submitted that will show all of that, and we'll have to go through the same process. So while I understand your concern, you don't see it here, this is just the first step of many. So there will be a plat map that will have to be submitted and approved through the city and then come back to the commission.
Any other discussion on this?
Does this also mean that we can, the design, I also have the same concerns. Now understanding exactly how these homes sit up against Venture Way, that with the main entrance of the house being on Venture Way, for visitors and guests, I have the same concerns.
Yeah, like I said, where my daughter lives, it's not really that much of an issue. She kind of lives in the middle. I was just more concerned, we get delivery drivers that are lazy, aren't gonna pull in here and find the back. They're just gonna stop in the middle of the road. But hopefully that's not an issue, and if it is, hopefully the city addresses it. But I think this community will have a nice look and add to the area for sure. And it's owner occupied is nice, so we need some of that.
Tom, can I ask you a couple questions? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
He knew we were coming for him.
Is this section of Venture Way, formerly Chubbuck Road, 41 feet curb to curb?
I believe so, yes. There should be adequate room if someone does park there. It's just hard to say what ifs, right? If they do it or not.
I drive up and down that road 4 times a day. There's not enough room. If somebody stopped on the side of the road, you'd be going into the center turn lane to get around them. There's not enough room. So.
Unfortunately, we'll just have to address it if it becomes a problem, because it could happen or it couldn't. Unfortunately, that's where we're at.
It's kind of the same with the crosswalk issue too. And is that something that they can submit through the city app for the crosswalks or something as like a request?
Crosswalks are kind of difficult. We have to have ADA. If we put a crosswalk in, we have to meet certain criteria. So there has to be, you can't just put a crosswalk to nowhere. So we encourage like you can go up to Venture and Olympus across there at a safe location. Unfortunately, there's a lot of rules that go in with crosswalks, and so there has to be an ADA ramp and some sidewalk there. We don't want to encourage someone to cross somewhere and then get stuck in the gravel.
I typically don't like to get in the weeds on parking and driving, but that is getting to be a pretty busy intersection. And right now it's currently a single stop. Is there any discussion about making it a three-way, putting in a light?
Yeah, we're looking at that for the future.
Great.
Signals, we usually use what's called warrants. It's got to meet certain criteria.
Sure.
And when those warrants are met, then we can go for grant money. If we don't meet those warrants, then we fund it ourselves. It currently doesn't meet any warrants at this time.
Sure.
To say it's not going to shortly, we don't know. But yeah, we're definitely keeping a close eye on that.
Appreciate that. Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Tom. That's all I had.
I also just want to state, I have seen the housing study and have seen the gaps, and this definitely would be filling a huge gap. I mean, granted, it's in an already kind of a higher density area anyway, but you know, it does contribute to that missing middle.
I think so too. I would argue with you a little bit. I agree with you that it fills that gap. As far as a higher density area, I mean, if you go just north of there, right, there's nothing there, and then you've got, or the fairgrounds, 40 acres, 150 acres. Anyways, you've got that whole rural zoning right there that's unoccupied. So it feels dense. I understand that. I grew up on the hill there. I know what it's like to go down Chubbuck. I know it can be busy, but I think by code standards, we're not even close to capacity, right? So anyways. Any other discussion or motions to be made?
I move to recommend approval of the planned unit development application from Kevin Karchner, finding the application meets the standards for approval under section 17.02.140 Pocatello City Code with the conditions of approval, and authorize the chair to sign the findings of fact, the chair or vice chair to sign the findings of fact and recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion made by Gomez, a second by Richards. Aislinn, will you call the vote, please?
Gomez,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Dyer,
Yes.
McCart,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Dolly.
Yes.
Thank you. With that, we will close our meeting.
Or don't need it, no.